Hello everyone, Corn here and welcome to my channel. I had mentioned that I was going to make a video and show you some of the other methods I used in dyeing paper and laces and fabric. And it all started with this, which is several manila envelope folders and pieces of them, which I had left over from work on other folders, and just doing some tea dyeing inside and out on these guys for a upcoming project that I'm doing for a giveaway in the future. And it all started with that, and then I was like, I'm working with, the paper I'm working with is from Stamperia, and it has certain colors that I don't have a lot of, so I thought, well, you've got to start doing some dyeing. So it started out with me just trying to match the papers, and I thought, while I've got this mess, because I'll make a huge mess in the kitchen and in the laundry room too, to be honest, trying to dry everything out as much as I can naturally with the papers and well, with everything really, that it just makes a mess around the house. So I thought, wow, I've got this system going, you know how you protect your countertops and everything. I thought I'd just keep going. So we did this one together in my last video. These are the pieces that we did. I don't know if we did the paper together too. And the laces and the fabric. When it comes to the fabric, I iron one and leave the other two alone with a little wrinkly look to them, which I like. Excuse me. I thought that just came out. Didn't that come out yum? I really like that. And so we did this one together. And that was watered down apple paint. But and I had mentioned you can get these for 50 cents. You can. But not this one. This one is the satin. So this one's like $1 and something. It's not like just the regular acrylic paint that you can get for 50 cents. And I don't know how much I put in, so I can't give you exact measurements, but I thought if you like the color and want to try it yourself, this is Princess Pink on that one. And then the next thing I did was to work with, well, actually before that, I went and worked with food coloring. This is from Walmart. It's the Great Value, their brand. And it comes with your blue, green, red, and yellow. They also have them in neon, but I used this one. And I'm going to move the camera just a little bit instead of move all my stuff. And that's this one. That's how this one came out. Excuse me, mercy. And so I have some fabric. Now this I did, the two colors I put together out of this was the blue and the green, because I was trying to find a darker blue-green to match that paper. And this still came out, and this is quite a few drops. I mean, this isn't just a few drops of this. It's a lot, over 12 drops, and not a whole lot of water. And it still came out light, and I left this, everything in the water for over 2 hours, almost 2.5 hours. And it still came out this light. Now, I thought this was interesting that, and this is white lace, but this ended up coming out almost like it looks like it had been tea dyed first and then put in the food coloring. The paper came out pretty. The lace came out beautiful too. It wasn't the color I was going for, but it's definitely a color I will use, and I use it all the time. But look how different those two came out. And then when it came to the fabric, I found that the color, the darker color will, if you can see, it will kind of puddle. See? I don't know if you can see that. I hope you can see that. There's stripes, the dark stripes in it, which I thought ended up really cool because I needed a darker color, not, you know, I love the pastels. Pastel's my favorite in all colors, but for this paper pad, I needed a little darker. Then, and there's several of those. Then, here's our seam binding. And as you know, if you crunch it up real good, this is the, is it Hug Snug or Snug Hug? That one. If you bunch it up, it'll pool. The color will sometimes pool. And I like the way that turned out too. I was happy with that. And let's see, here's our fabric again. I did do some paper doilies and then ironed them. And they came out, as you see, very, very pastel. Very pastel, but I will use these still. And then this is how the paper came out. This is after being soaked for almost 2.5 hours. Still super, super light. It's a beautiful color, but very light. So that's the food coloring. 2 colors combined in the food coloring one. And the one thing in here that actually match, or the 2 thing that actually matches the paper pad is the stripes here in the fabric, and then the seam binding. Then this one, which is a combination of the Acapulco. This again is the satin. I think you can get Acapulco in just the regular acrylic paint, and it's I think that's like 55 cents now or 50 cents or something to that effect, with water. And that's how this one came out, which is, I will use it a lot. Not as much in the project coming up, but I will use it a lot. I thought you might like looking at the laces. And look how sweet this one came out. I don't know if, I think the lighting is not the best, I'm sorry to say, because these colors, they come out so nice. And this one, this seam binding is, and I got from a thrift store. It's an older piece. It is washed, but look how that happened. It just kind of pooled a little bit. Other than that, the lightest white, still white, and this is dipped in and swirled around and left in and everything, and that's how that came out, which I thought was interesting. We have a doily that is a fabric doily that is, as you can see, is a creamy color, and that ended up really nice. I've got envelopes I did, I've got a bag I did, I've got some tags that I did, and I thought these little lace pieces came out nice. I think the color is gorgeous. I did some rickrack, and look how that did the same as a seam binding. It just sort of pooled where it wanted to. And I'm talking, these were immersed quite a few times and for quite a bit of a time. Then this is the creamy colored cotton lace from Dollar Tree, and so that came out a little creamier. And then the paper, let's see if I can take a few of these off so you can see how the paper came out, like so. I hope you can see that color. So that's that one. So I was getting these, like I said, this color green I use a lot all the time. But I was getting a few pieces I could use with this project coming up, but a lot of them on this one I'll probably use in the future. The same with the pink one that we did together. And then I wanted a blue because it has some blue in this project too, and that I did with Distress Spray Stain, and it was a matter of spraying things, and it was coming out too dark, so then I immersed it in water, and I'll show you what I came up with. So we came up with this lace. We can move that here for now. This lace, which I thought was an awfully pretty blue. And this one. And this one. I love this piece. I think it's so pretty. And then this one, you know how I cut up the lace curtain? And that's how that one came out. And then the blue paper, which you might be thinking, well, it's awfully close, but hopefully you can see the distinction between the food coloring and then the paint on this and then the distress stain spray. And there are little bumps and little places in it where you can see it, the color is stronger. Let me see if you can see. Look at the bottom of this one. See how there's just sections. And even after ironing them, they still come out a little bumpy, which is something I like. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that's a good thing. So there's the blue. Like I said, that I was looking for. I was looking for that. Because this, it has very little blue, but it has some. And if you're like me, you try to pick up as many colors in the paper as you can. And then, excuse me, I went and did this, trying to get a deeper, darker, because the paper pad, excuse me, mercy, the paper pad has lots of light colors, but then when it goes dark, it goes darker. So with this one, I ended up doing Dylusions Cherry Pie ink spray. And again, this was getting so dark, almost too dark from what I wanted. Sprayed them, you know, made sure it was in nice and good. Had gloves on, so I, you know, rub it in and everything. And it was too dark. So that's when, again, got a container of water, put them in the water. And if I thought, uh-oh, now we're getting too light again, respray, and just went kind of back and forth on that till I got what I wanted. And here's the fabric, how that came out. Isn't that gorgeous? Love these colors, I tell you. And then with this is that same Walmart lace, the cotton lace that Walmart, it's Dollar Tree, sorry. And I just wanted a little bit of this because I knew I wasn't going to use a huge amount of it. But I do like that color. And then this is vintage seam binding too, and I think that came out real nice. And then I can show that later because that's not part of that. So then with my tags, one of them came out super dark, but I went ahead and sprayed it with, after it was dry, with the Delusions white linen spray. And then this one, I put the paint dauber that Ranger came out with, that is pink gumball, and just, which I thought looked like little tiny roses. I don't know, maybe that's because I love roses so much, but so did that. Oh, I left this to Matt to go with everything. Paper Kitty 99 gifted me that that I thought, oh, it'd be perfect on one of those. And then did the inking and spraying, and then sprayed with the white linen. So that's how they came out. And then this one was just with the pink gumball, and just very lightly getting it wet. This is a manila tag, and just very lightly. No, I'm wrong. That's a white tag. Sorry, it's a white tag. And just very lightly going it over with the paint dauber. And speaking of the paint dauber, went ahead and did these little wooden hearts, one of them with a rose in the center. And you just take the paint dauber. That's really nice, because if you paint teeny wooden items like Lorraine does, if you just take the dauber and go, I think it covers really well. So I was real tickled about that one. And so that's how those guys came out. And then I was still said I don't have that darker shade like I need. And that's when I opened this up. Instead of using it as a dauber, this is by Ranger. It's called Emerald Isle. And I said, that's what I need, that color. That's the one I'm looking for. And so I opened it up and just poured some into some hot water and diluted it. And that's when I got what I'm going to be using on that project, because it's exactly what I was looking for. And as you can tell, it comes out different in different spots. But here's, let me see if I do it this way. Here's how that one came out. Very happy with the results of this. And there are a few places where if I thought it needed a little more blue, which I did, when you're playing with these, sometimes I also added some of the Distress Spray Stain in Broken China to give it a little more bluish tinge. So when it comes to this lace, check out this. The bottom basically, and this is drenched. This is just drenched. It took in most areas at the top, and a lot of times I cut the top off. I don't know if I'll be doing that as much this time. It did take, but not as much. And look on the other side though, on the back side, it's gone. It's all white except for the top, which I thought was interesting how that worked out. It went super dark on this trim. This trim is from Trina. She gave me a bunch of trims. This was in white, and that's how that one came out. And that one's pretty much, you know, if sometimes your paint will settle in the bottom. And this is me just keep, you know, you don't ever want it to settle. You want to keep mixing it up. But sometimes I would mix it up with this. Do you know what I mean? And same thing happened with the Rick Rack. That came out rather dark. And this lace, again, the back is white, which I thought was weird because we're talking drenched and drenched and drenched in it. I thought these pieces came out lovely, really pretty. And the fabric, I went ahead and ironed because I left it bunched up. And of course, the color pooled in stripes, which I thought came out really nice. So happy with that. Some more laces. Isn't that nice? And then, oh, you know what? I think this one's misplaced because I did a small piece in that. That's here, the darker one. This one goes with that. I was wrong. Boom. And then I went ahead, this piece was already tea dyed, and I do that sometimes, is I'll go ahead and stick it through another dye to see what comes up, and I like it. Especially, I did this because with the manila folder, I thought this might look good with it. And then I did a piece of eyelet in it I think that came out. I'm real happy with that because the colors picked up more darker in some areas than others. The paper I'm happy with because by the time I was doing this one, I don't know if you can, yeah, you can. If I hold it a certain way. It looks like it's been crumpled, but it hasn't. What under it, the wax paper, and then I had aluminum foil under that, it was kind of crumpled, and that's how it dried. So I was happy with how that turned out. And then tried to mix the, emerald green with the broken china and some tags, and dealing with some more tags. I liked how that side came out too. Spraying it again with the white linen also. And then this one. And this one came out nice and dark. And then I have one more to show you. And I think this is the oddest results I had gotten. This is the one I told you about that Handsome thought I was pulling his leg. He said, oh, that didn't come from that. And I was like, yeah, it did. What had happened was I had gotten some, it's a dye. And I had gotten it, let me see where can I put it, from Hobby Lobby when it was on clearance. It was normally $8.99 and I paid $2.20 something for it. And I'll show it to you. It's by, here we go. It's by Faber Castell and it's called Tea Stain Dye. And it has 3 colors. One is green matcha, blue chai, and pink hibiscus. Okay, and here's the pink hibiscus showing, and I was like, you know me, oh, I want that, especially for that price. I'd never pay $8.99 for it. It's just no. So I was like, okay, let me read up on it, because I thought, oh, I even took this, put it on beside my bed on my bedstand, on top of my book I'm reading, so because I thought, oh, this is going to be a long read. No, it's not. That's just it. It warns you, don't drink it, in different languages. And then it basically says just immersion dyeing. You seep it with wet fabric or paper and 1 cup of hot water for 30 minutes. And that's it. So I was like, okay, I can do that. And then it comes in this bag, and then it comes in this bag, to protect it, because again, it is dye, and it even says, don't drink this, stop it. So I got the pink hibiscus out, and I was like, this is going to be fun. Well, on the fabric, that's the color I got. On some of the lace, I got more of a pinky lavender or fuchsia that had a lot of white in it. On some different fabric, I got this color. Okay. And there was no stain there before. Then we have this blue dot. All right, then, okay, this is the Dollar Tree lace, which was cream anyway. So okay, coming out a little peachy. Okay. This is the curtain lace, and I was like, okay, that's pretty. They're all similar depending on their original color. This is an old Ralph Lauren. It was a pillowcase, and I got it at a thrift store, and I just washed it, cut it up, and thought I would put that in the dye just to see what I'd get. This is how the doilies came out, which I think is a beautiful color. I was happy I can deal with that. And then here's the other two laces. I'm serious, y'all. I didn't mix this up for real. I kept these all together because I was like, I have to show them. I have to show my subbies so they can say, what? And here's, wait a minute, we're not done yet. And then the other one, which I've shown you so many pieces too, for each one of these, came out periwinkle blue. I was like, and when they were all wet, here's the odd thing. When they were all wet, very similar to this, okay? Except if you had more of a creamy color. That is not fabric. That is, sorry, silk, sorry. And that is a creamy color originally. So that's why you got the more peachy pink color. And then, but look at that. Periwinkle blue and then almost like a baby's blue out of these two. And then I had first put this next lace, I'm going to show you, I'd first put this in the batch of food coloring one, okay? And I wasn't liking it at all. I didn't like how it came out, so I was like, you saw the other two, or the other piece that I had saved that came out in that. So I dipped it in the tea, left it in there for over 30 minutes. And look what I got there. Which is gorgeous. I think Annie would love it. It's such a beautiful purpley lavender. So, you know, it's sometimes fun to play, but that's plain. I mean, this is doing one after the other, but not this. All of these came from the same tea bag. Isn't that something? Well, I just want to show y'all what I've been up to literally for 4 days, 3 days of doing this. And I've got quite a few things for the future projects and then quite a few things for this one project that I've got coming up. And I'd like to thank you all for joining me today. And I hope you have a wonderful morning, afternoon, or evening. Bye-bye, everybody. Take good care.